volleyball match between IPFW Volleyball and the St. Francis College Cougars. I'm Dan Gebhardt. With me is Dave Skelton to bring you tonight's action. Dave, we know that we have a new coach, Tim Heffron. Got here a little late, didn't start his position until about a week before they started training. They've suffered a little bit, struggled a little bit. They're 2-6. They played some good competition, although they've won some big matches. They beat perennial NAI Power and recent Division II edition IUPUI on the first night, 3-2. Then went up to Hillsdale or Oakland tournament and beat Hillsdale at Oakland. What can we expect tonight, do you think?
Well, it looks like they're early, obviously going to be a little inconsistent, but yet they've got the nucleus for a pretty good volleyball team. So it'll be a matter probably of how well they execute. And St. Francis does not appear to be a huge team, so this should be a pretty good match.
Well, and as we always talk about with a new coach, you got to learn a new system. There's just a lot of new things going on. Even if the system doesn't change, the coaching personnel does, and there's just a lot of things to pick up on. I see that April Bear's out on the court. She has not played in the last 5 matches, I don't believe, so she's a nice addition back into the lineup after spraining her ankle up at the Grand Valley tournament 2 weeks ago. She's
got a big splint on that right ankle, so it'll be interesting to see how well she's able to perform tonight.
Starting lineup for IPFW is Jill Lyon, Amy Pulvido, and April Bear across the front row, Heather Teagarden, Julie Parrott, and Amy Scheumann in the back row. Overpass kill attempt blocked at the net by Jill Lyon. Free ball to IPFW. Outside April Bear for the kill.
Well, as you said, she's a welcome addition to that lineup, and she gets involved quickly. And she'll be the leading server, lead-off server, I should say.
April back to serve. Lift on St. Francis, point IPFW. They go up 1-0 here in game number 1. As I mentioned, our first broadcast of the year. Bear with us as we get back into the swing of things, Dave.
Yeah, it's early.
And April's trying to get back in the swing of things. She serves a net serve, service air, side out. Tracy Minnick serving for St. Francis College.
Familiar face as the up official over there, one we've seen in this gymnasium many, many times, Lauren G.
Minnick continues to serve. Looks like they're going to go at April. Kill by Teagarden. Dave, we've got some Fort Wayne flavor in this match. Playing for IPFW, you've got Heather Teagarden from Snyder, Julie Parrott from Bishop DeWenger High School, Amy Scheumann from Heritage High School. On the other side of the net, we have Marlena Maxim. I believe she went to DeWenger. It might be Carroll. I'm not sure where. She's from the northwest part of Fort Wayne.
And they have a young lady by the name of Jody Walcott who can come off the bench for St. Francis, also from Fort Wayne, as are a couple of other Spangler and Railing backup players.
Point IPFW, Amy Pulvido back to serve. Amy, returning from last year, saw a lot of action.
Well, the gals shouldn't have any trouble getting loose tonight because this is a warm old barn here in the big gym tonight.
It is warm in the gym. St. Francis in the net, point IPFW. They go up 3-1.
And it looks like somebody may have just twisted an
Looks
ankle.
like Jill Lyon. Can't really afford it, although it looks like she's pulling up her ankle. She might have got a cramp.
Could be. It's the weather for it.
Ron Clark, the assistant trainer, coming down into the court.
Jill's hesitant to try to put any weight on it yet.
The sport of volleyball, there's so much action at the net. You often see that kind of an accident. Both players from opposing teams are up fighting for the ball, and one comes down on the other with ankle.
Yeah, in a very small space, there are 3 or 4 sets of feet coming down.
They have as much time, right?
New head coach
Doesn't he have like a
Tim
certain
Heffron.
amount of time to decide if he wants to sub or not?
Obviously concerned. Talking to Amy Scheumann, who will probably step in the set if indeed Joe is unable to continue playing.
It looked like she's not in a great deal of pain on the ankle, but something just didn't come down right.
How is it, Ron?
Let's give you the starting lineup for St. Francis while we have a break here. Number 5 is Marlena Maxim from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Number 6 is Stacy Pfeiffer from Sydney, Ohio. Number 8 is Tanya LaFell from Temperance, Michigan. Number 9 is Leslie Rybicki from LaPorte, Indiana. Number 13 is Jennifer Shreves from Swanton, Ohio. And number 17 is Tracy Minix from Knox, Indiana.
Have to throw in a little bit of trivia here as I look down the St. Francis lineup and see a young lady, Melissa Robinson from Royal Center, Indiana. And I have to test you, Dan. Do you know where Royal Center, Indiana is?
Dave, I can't answer that question.
I can tell you that one. It's in good old Cass County, which happens to be the county seat of Cass County happens to be nothing other than Logansport.
Which is your hometown.
There you go.
Amy Pulvito back to serve again. Overpass, kill by Heather Teagard. Dave, we have a substitution on IPFW. I didn't see it happen, but Michelle Conley came in to block the front row for Julie Parrott. So Julie, it appears that Coach Heffron's going to go with Michelle in the front row and Julie in the back row.
Julie should give them, or Michelle should give them a lot of size up there that they've been lacking in sometimes in the past, but they didn't get the block that time.
Kill was by LaFell. Number 6, Stacy Piper back to serve. Kill by Teagard. Side out IPFW. 4-1 here, early in game number 1. Jill Lyon back to serve. Quick set in the middle. A little miscommunication on IPFW's part. Kill by number 13, Jennifer Shreves, side out St. Francis. Substitution for St. Francis. Sasha Spangler into the lineup. She'll go back to serve. She's from Fort Wayne. We don't have high schools listed here, Dave, so we can't tell our viewers.
She's a freshman on the St. Francis squad.
Nice serve. Overpass kill by number 5, Marlena Maxson.
That was a tough shot. It was a good serve, good dig by Amy, but just not quite in the position where they could handle it.
Kill by Teagard, side out IPFW. Looks like IPFW is going to a 3-person passing rotation. Heather Teagard from Fort Wayne Snyder back to serve. She leads this team in number of kills, number of attempts, and hitting percentage.
Heather's a very solid volleyball player. Only a sophomore, but yet one that'll have to provide some leadership for this team.
Kill inside out. April Bear tried to dig that ball, was unable to get to it. Back set, Scheinman, kill, side out IPFW. Julie Parrott coming back into the lineup.
Back into the lineup as she goes to the back row, and Michelle then will take a seat.
With April out, Julie's had to pick up a lot of slack. She's come in and had some very good games. I believe she led IPFW in one of those matches up at Oakland in kills.
Yeah.
Nice dig.
Little uncertainty in the offensive setup that time for the Dons.
Well, and Heather Teagard tried to react and overpass that ball. She just didn't get it deep enough. Gave number 8, Tanya LaFell, a chance to kill. Maxim back to serve. Back set to Bear. Nice dig. Looks like April's having a little bit of trouble getting her timing down right now, Dave.
Yeah. And Jill Lyon hasn't been too active since her little accident there early in the match. We'll see if she can shake it off here in a little bit.
Right now, IPFW having a little trouble passing. That ties it at 4. Service air, side out IPFW. Amy Scheinman back to serve. College.
Return the favor. Substitution for the Cougars. Number 9, Leslie Rybicki. Front row player.
Leffel back to serve. Back slide. Kill attempt is long though.
Amy Bovado. A little too much mustard on the hit that time.
Looked like the timing was off just a little bit. That's a nice play, that back slide, but
she wasn't able to come down on it.
Right. Service error, side out. April Bear back to serve. Service error.
2 in a row.
Yeah, it's tough to score points when you can't get the ball on the court.
It sure is.
Tracy Minix back to serve. She gives it right back.
It's both teams.
Dave, we talked about it being hot and humid. Does that affect the way you hit the ball and the path of the ball and all those kind of things?
Well, I think there could be some effect there because obviously your hands are going to be wet from perspiration and it'd be a little tougher to control the ball quite like you want to.
Polvado. Nice dig by Bear. Back set, Amy Scheumann. St. Francis in the net, ties it up at 5.
Amy to go for 2 in a row here. Extra ball on the court. They'll have to give Don the Mastodon a shot at one of these in a minute.
Okay, they reversed the call. They said that St. Francis was in the net, but the line judge said the ball traveled outside the antenna, which takes precedent over the in the net. So it's a side out to St. Francis. Number 6, Stacy Pfeiffer back to serve.
So the ball has to be within the boundary lines to play before you get to the net.
Check the lineup. Check the lineup.
Makes sense.
Kevin. Check the lineup.
And actually, IPFW apparently substituted during
What's
that
the scorekeeper said?
change in transition, and now wants to know if they can unsubstitute. And it would only seem fair that you could do that.
Apparently they can. They can back up to the point where they started with the proper violation being called.
Line check.
A lot of confusion here. I'm really confused, Dave, as what's going on. I thought I had it figured out. Now they're not going to redo that substitution.
Which apparently means a substitution is a substitution and you can't reverse it.
Well, apparently what happened was that we actually served that ball, so the substitution was made prior to the serve.
Okay. Service error after all that time.
Jill Lyon back to serve. Let's get some going here.
Jill, a veteran player, and she too comes through with the service error.
It appears to me that both teams don't have their head in the game right now, Dave.
Yeah, they're not quite sure what they need to do and what adjustments need to be made.
Sasha Spangler back on the lineup, and she'll serve for the Cougars. Kill attempt by Scheiman's dug. Blocked at the net by Conley and Teagard. Dug by Bear. Nice dig by Minix in the back row. Kill attempt by Max. Nice play. Point to St. Francis. So instead of a 5-5 tie, St. Francis goes up 6-4. Nice pickup by Jill as that ball was overpassed.
Pick up and save, and kill came through.
But St. Francis still gets the kill.
Sasha Spangler appears to be one of the better servers for St. Francis.
Yeah, we don't have any stats on them, Dave, so we can't give the folks much information about St. Francis. But Tim Heffron calls a timeout. IPFW trailing 7-4 here in game number 1. Best of 5. Women's college volleyball is played best of 5. I believe there's a cap at 17 in each game, and the final game is played rally score if it goes to 5 with no cap. Must win by 2, or the first team to 17 in the first 4 games. Game number 5, it's rally score, and you must win by 2. Dave, this team leaves for St. Cloud State tomorrow night to play in a tournament Friday and Saturday. That's about a 10 or 12-hour trip up there. And, of course, that's where Tim Heffron came. He was the assistant coach up there, so he'll certainly know that
St. Cloud
place and their system.
Uh-huh. And he ought to know the good route to take. They're likely to play, what, maybe 3 or 4 matches while they're up there?
I think it's 4.
4?
St. Francis in the net, side out IPFW. Dave, you made that reference to Tim wanting to know the route. The interesting thing for our fans who don't know that is Tim is an ex-men's volleyball player here at IPFW, so it's a return home for Tim Heffron. Heather Teagarden to serve for the Volleyball. It's the first one we've gotten over in 5, I believe, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, about time.
Kill off the hands of Shyman. Shreves back to serve.
Junior from Swanton, Ohio. She serves out. Service error.
A lot of service errors this first game.
Service percentages are not good so far.
We saw this in the opening match for IPFW against IUPUI here. We saw IPFW make a lot of service errors in game number 1 and then come back and serve game 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's pretty tough. So hopefully it's just getting their confidence down. And as I say that, we have another service
certainly
error.
not there yet. Well, it'll come around.
And actually, this team is a very good serving team, so I expect it to be turned around. They have 49 service aces in 30 games. But St. Francis gets that point on the kill.
And so far, the edge seems to be that St. Francis is a little bit more aggressive at the net.
I was going to mention that. It doesn't look like we're winning any balls at the net, and really, St. Francis is not a real big team.
No, they're not.
Good block by Palvido. Amy Shyman to serve.
Okay, Amy, it's time to get us on a positive roll.
Service ace. That'll do it.
We're moving in the right direction now.
Tracy Minix in the setter there had a little bit of trouble, so it's into the net. Another point IPFW, 8-6.
First back-to-back points in quite some time.
There's another one. We just aren't quite strong enough at the net.
Because the smaller girl actually that time won the battle.
Side out. St. Francis. LaFell back to serve. LaFell, the St. Francis setter. And she serves in air. April Bear back to serve for the Volleyball.
April Bear back to serve.
Nice kill by Minix. We haven't seen a lot of that, Dave. We haven't seen a real aggressive attack from the outside by either team tonight yet. Part of that is the fact that neither team is passing real well.
As is evidenced right there, but again, a decent recovery, but the hit was out.
Yeah, Joe made a nice recovery there for a nice set, but Heather was just a little bit long for a point. St. Francis. Minix back to serve. Almost another overpass, but Jill's able to, again, make a play on that ball. Amy Palvido back. Michelle Conley back in the lineup.
Amy Palvido back to serve.
Service ace.
Yep.
9-7. Another service ace.
2 in a row. Let's go for 3. Come on, Amy.
Getting a little bit of miscommunication on the part of the Volleyball.
But Amy did her part. She got 2 aces and then had the 3rd one in play.
Piper back to serve. First aggressive outside attack IPFW's had.
Yes.
Gonna go to it again.
Well-placed shot right in the middle of the floor.
10-8, St. Francis. This timing there between Conley and Lyon. Point St. Francis 11-8.
A little tough on the pass to handle. It was right at the net.
Service there.
Most of what happens in this first game has been the result of what one team or the other has done wrong rather than what the other team has done in an aggressive fashion.
Yeah, we haven't seen either team really get into a flow here.
No.
Jill line serve, overpass kill. Conley had a chance to put it down. She didn't.
Didn't take advantage of it.
Heather Teagarden from the outside, another nice aggressive attack. Jill Lyon and Amy Scheinman did real well there. Jill got stuck having to dig a couple balls and put Amy in a setting situation, and she set a couple real nice attempts there.
Nice set that time by Amy.
11-9. Jill continues to serve. Service there. Spangler back in the lineup, and she'll go back and serve. Dave, I believe in the women's game at the college level, you're allowed 3 entries and 12 total substitutions. A little different than the men's game, where you're only allowed 2 entries and 6 total substitutions.
Yeah, it's a little more freedom in positioning your lineup. Good shot.
Amy Scheinman. Nice back set by Jill Lyon. Heather Teagarden back to serve.
IPFW needs a streak of consistency here.
Tried to go for the line. I can't see who's calling the serves or what serves they're calling, but it appears that we are trying to serve pretty tough, and we're not doing a very good job right now.
Yeah, at this point in time, what we need most is a serve that's in play.
Set not quite high enough. April hits it into the net. This is Jennifer Shreve serving for the Cougars. Service error. A lot of service errors this first game. We haven't been keeping track of that statistic, but it's been a lot. Shannon Smith coming into the lineup for Michelle Conley. Apparently that's to save Julie Parrott, who he may bring in to play the front row. As we mentioned before, Julie played very well These are the past 2 weekends in tournament. Nice block by Povado.
Scheinman.
12-10. Shannon Smith continues to serve. Shannon out of Woodburn, Indiana. Nice dig by Shannon. Kill attempt is wide. Point IPFW.
And we get a St. Francis timeout here to slow down the Mastodons as they're making a small charge at getting within a point here.
Both teams have now taken one of their 2 allowable timeouts per game. IPFW trailing here 12-11 in game number 1. Again, best of 5. IPFW is, in a sense, in a rebuilding year with a new coach, many new players. Actually, that's not true. There aren't a whole bunch of new players, but a lot of players who didn't see a bunch of action last year. So.
Inexperienced. Well, who was it? Al McGuire that said the best thing about a freshman is that they become a sophomore.
Thing is, it's that transition between that freshman and the...
Yeah, it's that growing up period that can get you.
Nice service ace by Shannon Smith.
All right.
Dave, it's amazing. I think we have a number of, as we said, we don't know the number, but a lot of service errors, but I think that's about the 4th or 5th service ace we've had.
Yeah.
And now we go back to the air.
Couldn't stand prosperity.
But it is 12-12.
Yep. And that's about the best IPFW has been able to do so far, is to pull even. And then as soon as they do, things slip back again. So we'll see how it goes. Good pass, good kill, but a good dig also by the Cougars.
Ball's wide on the kill attempt. Side out, IPFW. That was a good dig on St. Francis' part. I'm not sure who got that.
I think it may have been number 5.
Maxim.
Oh, bad decision by number 13, Jennifer Shreves.
But we'll take the ace.
That's right.
Amy Scheinman served into the lineup for the Cougars. Number 11, the first time we've seen her, Erica Railing. Erica Jr. out of Fort Wayne. Amy Scheinman continues to serve. Too much adrenaline flowing. But IPFW takes the lead. First time they've led since early in this game. Leffel back to serve. Quick attack in the middle. First time we've been real aggressive in the middle, too.
Best aggressive move of the evening for the Dons.
Amy Povado. April Bear back to serve. Might have been long at Shannon Smith.
Yeah.
Back row attack. Traded Amy Scheinman across the line before she left the ground.
So that was a side out, I guess, rather than a point for St. Francis.
Tracy Minix back to serve. She serves into the bottom of the net. Amy Reinbach coming into the lineup to play in the front row for Shannon Smith.
2 good serves. Let's see them both in a row. That's one.
That's
one. And the Dons finally have gotten to a game point.
But St. Francis is going to take a timeout, try to break that momentum.
Amy Povado has provided some of the spark in terms of the serving in this first game.
Well, we've been a little bit more consistent the last 10 or 12 serves here, and I think we've had 1 error in those 12 serves. And again, you can't score in this game until you do rally scoring, unless you can serve. Amy will try to close out game number 1.
As we see the coaching crew from St. Francis looking on and intently hoping that this will be a side out. And it will.
Piper back to serve.
Stacy, I think, has had a little bit better luck for the Cougars on the serving department tonight. St. Francis did not take advantage of an overpass.
Which was probably a good choice because it was a little bit deeper than I think you.
A little tougher to handle.
But the ball's aggressively attacked by Teagarden on the outside. Jill Lyon will not try to close out game number 1.
And the Mastodon gets pumped up here finally in this first game. He's ready for a win.
I think this is Don's first appearance of the year too, Dave. I don't believe he was at the IUPUI game. St. Francis in the net. So IPFW wins the first game 15-12.
And they did it by scoring the last 6 points of the match, not necessarily in order or in a row, but scoring the last 6 points of that game to come from behind and win.
Dave, that's kind of the way it was at the IUPUI match. They struggled. They'd fall behind and they'd fight their way back in, and they'd get ahead and then they'd lose a game. And in fact, they won the first 2 games that night, I believe, and lost the next 2 before winning in 5. And it was that kind of a scrappiness that kept them in the game, in the match.
Well, the performance here late in this first game might be the kind of thing that will spark the Dons now and get them a little sharper. So let's see if this second game can't be a little more smoothly performed.
Well, we got about 2.5 minutes before game number 2 starts, so you and I are going to take a short rest here, get a drink, and stay tuned for more women's NCAA volleyball action.
How can you find out when lightning may strike? And how do you count the fish in the sea? How can you tell if a child is growing normally, if baseball is getting better, or traffic is getting worse? How do you know about stock market trends, the risk of cholesterol, the history of witchcraft, or the future of spacecraft? With statistics, that's how. And how can you find out about statistics? With the new Statistics series, Against All Odds.
Turn to find help for an elderly person you love. Call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116.
For over 2 millennia, Western society has generated a rich visual tradition of painting, sculpture, and architecture. What do these images mean? How can we understand them? Art of the Western World will take you on an exciting journey that will suggest answers to these and other questions. Beginning in ancient Greece and ending on the brink of the future, it will examine many of mankind's most enduring artistic achievements.
Back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW for tonight's NCAA women's volleyball match against the St. Francis Cougars. IPFW wins game number 1, 15-12. We're just about ready to begin game number 2.
And the I can't even say it tonight. The crosstown rivalry continues here between St. Francis and IPFW.
And it goes back, it's a long storied rivalry too, Dave.
Long time.
IPFW making one lineup change, and Shannon Smith is in for I'm not sure who.
Shannon gave them a little bit of a boost for
Julie Parrott and Michelle Conley.
yeah.
And she's starting, it looks right front, so she'll rotate out after the serve. Number 16, Kelly McNamara, in for St. Francis, I believe. She's the only one out there we haven't seen, although number 11, Erica Railing, stays in the lineup.
She played briefly in that first game.
Amy Scheinman serves, start game number 2.
And the serve was in play and we got a point. How about that?
No, we didn't, side out.
Didn't?
No, went down on our side of the net.
Oops, I'm sorry. Got to clean out my bifocals here.
Well, it was a good quick attack in the middle. We weren't quite up at the net to block.
The serve was in play, so
yes,
that's progress.
Nice kill by April Bear, although that's a quick attack. That set didn't seem quite high enough, just a little low.
Just high enough that she could get it.
Service ace by Shannon Smith. That's why she came into the lineup, Dave.
Yep.
I believe she had one in that first game.
She gave us a little boost late in the game in that first game.
Back row attack is a little short into the net, side out of St. Francis. Tracy Minix back to serve for the Cougars. April Bear with the kill attempt, Doug. Nope, hit the antenna. Point St. Francis.
Heather was put in a very tough spot over there and not much she could do with that ball.
Well, I think April Bear got stuck setting that ball, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Minix back to serve.
Again, Heather a little off balance, out in a spot that it's tough to get the kind of shot she wants to get.
Well, Dave, it just appears to me that both teams right now are struggling keeping their concentration and staying in this ball game. And there we see an effect of that with the service error. April Bear back to serve for the Volleyball.
And the Dons attempting to draw even here.
They do, with a block by Teagard and Pulvito. April out of Concordia High School. Lift, St. Francis. Point IPFW, they go up 3-2 here in game number 2. April stayed home. Outside the Teagard. Teagard through the block.
We're seeing a little more consistency out of the Dons now, and some good things are happening for them.
Well, it all starts with that pass, Dave. You got to get the ball to the setter so she can do something with it, and they've been able to do that recently.
And they're getting the serves in play. Oh, I spoke too soon. I'm going to be quiet.
You're right. Spoke too soon. Side out, St. Francis. Piper back in. She'll go and come in for Kelly McNamara, and she'll go back to serve. Back set to Teagard. Dug well by Piper, but into the net, and St. Francis unable to dig the ball. Side out IPFW, they lead 5-2. Jill Lyon back to serve.
Jill Lyon to serve.
Unusual play there. Amy Scheinman setting, set to the setter in the back row, Jill
yeah.
Lyon. Sasha Spangler in. She's serving.
Nice dig by the St. Francis net player, number 11, Erica Railing.
Set a little wide. Point, St. Francis. They've changed the scoreboard on me. I thought it was 5-2. It is now 4-3.
Got the point on the wrong side there for a minute.
Block at the net by number 11, Erica Railing.
It's 2 in a row for Erica.
And that makes it 4-4. Spangler continues to serve. Right now, St. Francis doing most of the good things, although that kill attempt is wide for a side out. You know, Dave, I want to mention this, that IPFW plays a pretty unique passing game in that you look out there in the court, everybody on the court right now will pass depending upon the rotation they're in, which is really unusual. Most teams pass with 2 at the most, 3 players. Pass is short and unable to be dug by the setter, side out to St. Francis. Railing back to serve. Back set to Scheinman, and she gets the kill down. Although again, Dave, we're not real crisp on our setting and attack right now.
No, both teams have improved a bit, but again, the game is going pretty much trading back and forth a point or two.
Ema Palvido back to serve. An air. Kelly McNamara back into the lineup. Marlene and Maxim back to serve. Middle attack is dug. Outside attack is dug. Neither team hitting the ball real hard right now, Dave.
No.
It's pretty easily dug in the back row by both teams.
In fact, they're a little hesitant to really cut loose with the ball, it appears.
Amy Scheinman back to serve for the Volleyball.
Oh, nice hustle. Barely had room to get that shot, and it paid off for the young lady, number 10, Sasha Spangler.
And I think IPFW was caught asleep, didn't think she was going to dig it, and I think they just were caught sleeping then when the ball came over the net. Service ace. Leffel. Julie Parrott going to come in for Amy Scheinman. Leffel continues to serve. St. Francis goes up with that point, 5-4. Again, poor passing, breaking down the offense. You can't run an offense unless you get that first pass to the center.
Things are very sluggish developing here tonight.
Shannon Smith cuts loose though through the block. Side out IPFW, Shannon back to serve.
Shannon with a big knee brace. I'm not sure what the history is of the difficulty she's had with a knee, but she's performing pretty well tonight.
Well, she has had some, and early this season she sprained it, I believe. They were concerned it was more serious than that. But she didn't, I don't believe, even miss a game. Jill sets look just a little wide on his outside attacks. Nice play, nice dig by Julie Parrott. Keep the ball alive.
Really was.
Point IPFW, 5-6, they trail.
Smith to serve.
Shannon Smith continues to serve. Nice defensive play by IPFW.
Yeah, keeping the pressure on.
Nice back set by the St. Francis setter, Tanya LaFell. Side out, St. Francis. Tracy Minix back to serve. Nice back set by Jill Lyon, but it's dug nicely by Axum. Kill attempt is long.
There are a few in the building who disagree with that call, but it was close.
So I couldn't see it.
The descriptive factor for the St. Francis Cougars might be that they're kind of a gritty little squad. Just about the time you think you can put them away, they keep coming back at you, like right there. And they're hanging on to a 1-point lead at the moment, 6-5.
That was Rybecki with the kill. Piper back to serve. Service air. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Jill Lyon back to serve. Again, looks like a little miscommunication there on IPFW's part.
Yeah, because the execution wasn't too bad until the last attempt hit, and it just didn't, the timing wasn't there.
Sasha Spangler back in to serve.
Spangler to serve.
Tried to run the combination. Timing was a little bit off. Maxim through the block. Point St. Francis, they go up 7-5. About the same position we were in game number 1, Dave.
Sasha's got a side spin serve that gives us a little bit of trouble on the return.
Well, again, it doesn't look like we're getting very much movement in that back row. Almost flat-footed back there trying to pass the ball. Tim Heffron calls the timeout. Maybe he saw the same thing we did.
Yeah, I think it's a well-taken timeout.
St. Francis leads here in game number 2, 8-5. IPFW won game number 1, 15-12.
IPFW's men's soccer team will be in action tomorrow at St. Francis with a start time of 3:30.
We talked about that St. Francis rivalry, Dave. We hear over the loudspeaker that the soccer teams from IPFW and St. Francis match up tomorrow. And of course, we play them, I believe, in both men's and women's basketball. We play them in baseball and softball. It's basically across the spectrum in all of our sports programs we play each other.
It's a good rivalry. They're always good games and well played. Sportsmanship pretty good. Fans get excited a little bit now and then, but usually a pretty well conducted contest.
Well, Spangler will continue to serve here with an 8-5 lead.
See if the timeout affected Spangler any. Not in terms of getting it in play. But she saves one from the back row. Good little player.
Well, and again, IPFW's timing is just not there. That was an overpass, and instead of, it was a deep overpass, so there wasn't much attempt at the chance at the kill, and Amy Pulvido went up and tried to get it and got her finger on it, which kept the person, which was Shannon Smith, from digging the ball.
Misdirected it just enough that it couldn't be played.
Heather Teagarden with a kill from the outside, side out.
So the Dons now with an opportunity to serve and trailing 5-9. They need some good offensive action.
Heather Teagarden back. Nice dig by April Bear, outside to Shannon Smith. Dug by Minix. Mags him down the line. Side out St. Francis.
Much better play both ways, though, both sides of the net that time.
Erica Railing to serve for the Cougars. Quick attack in the middle. Side out, IPFW.
We need a server.
Amy Palvido is the one chosen.
And that may be an indication of how the night's going. Not quite sure who's to do what.
Well, again, you can't get any continuity, Dave. I think that's where you get in that flow. You know when you're back to serve. Service 8.
Yeah, service ace that time. And even though there was some very good hustle on the St. Francis part, they had an opportunity to return that.
Free ball to St. Francis. Quick attempt in the middle is no good. Outside to Shannon Smith, who gets the kill. IPFW trying to climb back into this.
They're inching back, trail by 2 now, 9-7. Amy Palvato, the server.
Quick attack out of the middle, unsuccessful, but Shannon Smith there to get the overpass kill.
Shannon has given us some of the more alert play, and the Dons get back within 1.
It almost appears that Shannon's hungry. You know, you talked about the knee brace, and I know that she sat out, I believe, 2 years ago and played considerably last year, but suffered a couple injuries, and then again having an injury earlier in this practice season. And a concern that she wasn't going to be able to play. I think maybe she's coming in here a little bit hungry, Dave.
She wants to take opportunity or advantage of these opportunities to play.
IPFW trails 8-9 here in game number 2 after winning game number 1, 15-12. They trailed in game number 1 almost as they are. The game formats are almost following the same patterns as we saw in game number 1. Palvido back to serve. Blocked by Julie Parrott.
Number 17, Tracy Minix for St. Francis, just isn't able to get much of a hard hit behind that. And thus it's being returned pretty easily by the Dons.
IPFW stayed at home that time, but St. Francis dug. Maxim with the kill attempt, and she gets it through the block. Side out St. Francis. Kelly McNamara coming back in the game for St. Francis. Marty Maxim back to serve.
You're right about the first game. If I remember right, it was 9-9, and then St. Francis went up 12-9, and then lost 15-12. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Nice dig by Maxim. McNamara with the kill attempt. Ball's down on a block by Julie Parrott. Side out IPFW. I wasn't sure that ball was over the net, Dave, but I watched Lauren Gebert signal that. He said there was a touch, so.
Yeah.
There we go again, though. We're losing a joust at the net. We're just apparently not strong enough or not aggressive enough, one of the two. Rybicki back in the lineup for the St. Francis Cougars. Leffel back to serve. Oh, and Shannon Smith gets the kill from the outside. Nice play by Jill Lyon on that one. That ball was almost in the net when she dug it out to make a nice set on the outside.
And again, Shannon's giving the team a little bit of a boost here. Let's see if she can come through with the serve.
Shannon Smith back to serve.
She does.
She serves an ace.
IPFW has been determined to serve down that right sideline tonight.
St. Francis in the net. And it would have been down, Dave. So
yeah, tough break for the Cougars.
11-9, IPFW.
Drying of the floor, getting things back ready for some action here as the Dons have an opportunity now to pull away in this second game.
Oh, great serve down the line. Position number 5. Shannon Smith. Brings Sasha Spangler into pass. Almost again a mistake, but it works out.
Heather Teagarden covered that very well.
Yeah, April wanted to kill that overpass and just couldn't get it in the right position and ended up just kind of tapping the ball, as you mentioned, Heather was able to keep it alive.
And little by little, the Dons have taken control here at 13-9. But saying anyone has taken control might be dangerous.
Not tonight.
As we look in on the St. Francis timeout, hopeful here that they can get some momentum turned around. And then the Dons preparing for the last couple of points here, hopefully.
Actually, Dave, I think they were up about 8-4, weren't they, at one point in this game?
Yeah, somewhere along in there.
We're outscored 9-1 here. Shannon Smith. You're right, going down that right line. He set Sasha Spangler, but she can't get the ball. She can't get enough overspin on the ball. It goes out. So here we serve for a game point. She tries to go down the line one too many times. Serves wide.
But Shannon did her job. She brought us from 9-9 up to a 5-point lead.
So Minix will try to keep St. Francis in the game. Heather Teagarden from the outside. Nobody home.
So April Bear has the opportunity here to finish off game 2.
Can't do it.
They leave the door open.
Another great play by Jill Lyon. That ball was overpassed, but she kept it alive.
And one thing that St. Francis has neglected to do all night long is to take advantage of that overpass at the net.
But IPFW gives it right back.
2 service errors in a row, serving for the game.
Sasha Spangler to serve. St. Francis with a point, chance to score, and they do. Bags them down the line. 14-10. Quick attack out of the middle is Doug.
And here we go.
So look at Tim Heffron, not real happy, trying to decide whether to call timeout. Doesn't want to.
I'd say about one more point, he will.
I think you're right. Free ball to St. Francis. Chance to get the attack. Go outside to Maxim, but she's blocked.
Nice recovery there, reaction.
But we're unable to get an attack on our side. Free ball to St. Francis. They're back on the attack. Back out to Maxim. But she's blocked straight down by Julie Parrott and Polvido.
2 times in a row they took that kill away from Marlena Maxim. Left side of the net. Good blocking by the Dons.
Gary Hurtman in. Freshman from Fort Wayne Carroll.
Critical time. Put the ball in play, get an opportunity to win. And we can't do it. 3 in a row.
No, and it's critical, as you said, that the substitutes come off the bench to get a good serve. In fact, that's what he brought her in for.
Yeah.
Because they bring Heather Teagarden right back in.
Just get the ball in play.
Erica Railing for the Cougars. And she serves an ace. Now's the time to call timeout.
Here it comes.
Again, they just can't keep their concentration, Dave.
Yeah, it seems like they really don't recognize the fact that they have the opportunity to win and that St. Francis is not playing great, so that if they just put the ball in play, give themselves a chance to win. And they weren't able to do that the last 3 times with the serve. So St. Francis battling back. Gritty. I think I'll say it again. They're gritty. They just hang in there.
Railing will be serving for the Cougars. Nice tip by Julie Parrott for a kill. Amy Polvido.
Now we'll see if Amy Reidenbach can come in and take advantage of her opportunity to put the ball in play, Amy. Give us a chance to win. Okay, it's in play. Good
nice
serve. Good serve. But a little hesitation on the defensive end. But we did have an opportunity to serve. Good serve. Opportunity to win. Here come the Cougars.
Marlena Maxim. Outside to Julie Parrott, who hits it long.
So guess what?
Tim making a few substitutions here, I think, just to break the momentum. Both teams have used both timeouts. Maxim continues to serve. Let's go to Shannon Smith on the outside.
And if there's been a stopper for us at all tonight, it's almost been Shannon Smith, Dan. She's come through with plays like that. She's had streaks of serving and scored.
And you need to have somebody like that, Dave, but you also need somebody who can, others who can step up at times, and that's what we're missing tonight, it appears. Amy Scheinman serving for the game.
And that time they just weren't lucky.
No, in fact, that appeared to hit the antenna from our angle, but substitution.
I think it may have hit the net and caused the antenna to bounce around, but
Julie Parrott back in, Amy Polvido back in. Leffel, Tanya Leffel will serve, trying to keep the Cougars in the ball game.
Coach Heffron's not a happy camper. Hesitation all the way around. St. Francis has a great opportunity here to tie it up.
But April Bear and Shannon Smith had that block, but they almost start celebrating too soon because St. Francis almost got that ball back up.
Almost came back out. Well, let's see. Opportunity, what, number 5?
I believe so.
To win the game.
And they set it to Sasha Spangler, who hits it wide for the game, 15-13.
And guess who had the winning serve?
Shannon Smith.
Shannon had what was needed to pick the Dons up in this second game.
IPFW goes up 2-0 here in the best of 5 series. They win game number 1, 15-12, game number 2, 15-13. We're going to take about a 5-minute break here as there is a serving contest here in the gymnasium. By the way, Dave, we ought to mention that for those folks who are watching at home, you ought to come out and view a game in person because there is a lot of exciting action and some contests go on between games that you have a chance to participate in. But we're going to take a break, rest our voices a little bit. So we'll be back with you for game number 3 shortly.
Carol.
Tom.
Some people still don't realize how space technology benefits everyone.
Well, you played a detective. Why don't you give him a clue and I'll be your helper.
Okay, partner. Look at this.
Without warning, hurricanes can take a huge toll in lives and property.
But with space satellites, we now have ample warnings.
And thousands of lives have been saved.
Hey, Carol, we're a great team.
We're a great item.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Mental illness. We fear it. We laugh at it.
This guy's lost his
We scorn it. We think it's shameful. But these are misunderstandings. Misunderstandings that will fade away if we see mental illness for what it really is. A medical disease. A disease that can be treated if you just know where to turn. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you help us? I'm sorry, Sir, please help our brother. Ma'am, we need some blood for our brother. Please.
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Sir? Please, ma'am.
Oh, not now, baby.
Our brother really needs blood. Can you help us?
Imagine if you had to ask for blood to save the life of someone you love. Next time the American Red Cross asks, give blood, please.
A lot of my friends have already retired. But I wasn't ready for that. So I'm still teaching. This time in Belize, Central America. I decided to join the Peace Corps. I love my kids. And the way I figure it, I have the rest of my life to play cards.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
What comes to your mind when you think about mathematics? Clowns, street sweepers, the Red Sox, robots, the weather, earthquakes, Disney World, pineapples, conventions, parking tickets, fishing? If these practical applications of contemporary mathematics didn't make your list, you should watch public television's math series For All Practical Purposes.
You made it! Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, I'm start working, I'm save. And I'll be in college in another year or two.
So, what do you have planned, Mike?
I think I'm going to go home and make a sandwich.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Vince, come on, we'll land. yourselves in with your safety belts. You don't want to end up like Eddie. Belt up. Don't be a dummy.
Bonjour. French in Action, opening a new era in language learning. A television course in 52 lessons centers around a wonderful romantic comedy filmed entirely on location in France. The story of Mireille, Robert, Marie-Laure, and the mysterious man in black will help you to learn, to understand, and to speak French. Watch French in Action.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
This is just one of the many parts you can play as a young Red Cross volunteer. Volunteer and play your part.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center for tonight's live women's volleyball action. Tonight's match features the IPFW Volleyball against the St. Francis Cougars. IPFW won game number 1, 15-12, won game number 2, 15-13. They lead 2 games to 0 here in this best of 5 series. We are just about ready to begin game number 3. This is Dan Gephardt along with Dave Skelton.
And the Dons really have a good opportunity here in game 3 because they haven't played especially well to win the first 2 games, but they've won them. Now they've got an opportunity to go for the sweep. And if they could just add a little to their intensity, a little to their concentration, a whole lot to their serving, why, they could go home here with game 3 very quickly.
And I think your point is well taken there, Dave. It's a matter of concentration and keeping that momentum going right now, the focus, because I look out there, they look pretty upbeat, which is good in one sense, but you don't want to forget what you're here for, and that's to win this 3rd game and get out of this match with a victory.
And Shannon Smith is staying in the lineup. That's no surprise. Shannon was a nice spark in that 2nd game.
St. Francis will begin serving here in game number 3. Dave, I felt a breeze come from somewhere. I'm not sure where that came from, but it sure is a welcome relief.
Wherever it was, I hope they do it again. Whatever door's open, leave it open.
Tanya Leffel back to serve for the St. Francis Cougars. Quick attack block, but dug by April Bear.
Good alertness and a good block.
And Shannon Smith gets the ball down.
Good start. Good start.
Side out IPFW. Shannon Smith back to serve. She served about 8 of the 15 points, I think, last game day.
Yeah, she had a good game. Shannon's a sophomore out of Woodburn.
Nice dig by Heather Teagarn. Back set. Nice hustle on IPFW's part. Looks like they're coming out with some fire, Dave.
Yeah, they didn't get it back, but you can't fault the hustle on that one.
Tracy Minnix to serve. Service air. Side out to the volley now. April Bear. Ooh, nice serve.
Nice serve is right.
Service ace.
Now just stay right on that wavelength, April, and let's get this thing moving in the right direction. Another good serve. Good serve. Tough to handle. Let's go for 3.
We'll go for it. picking on Marlene Maxim back there.
She's found the friend back there and going to stay right with it. Good recognition, because that's not what they necessarily did in these first couple of games.
No, it isn't. In fact, I was going to mention in game number 2 that you can typically tell who they're picking on, and they really didn't pick on any one person.
Even when they had a couple in a row that would be, you know, a good opportunity, they seem to go elsewhere.
Stacy Piper into the lineup.
Same spot, different player.
Nice dig by Shannon Smith. Free ball to IPFW. Nice dig by Amy Scheinman. Kill attempt by number 16, Kelly McNamara, is into the net. Point IPFW. They go up 4-0 here quickly.
You know, I like that play by Shannon Smith, even though it's possible that ball might have gone out. She aggressively went at it and returned it and made it tough to play.
Oh, what a great serve by April Bear.
Hey, they're on a roll. They got to stay with it. Got to go right after it.
That's right, and St. Francis takes a timeout. Trailing 5-0. I was concerned about IPFW coming out with fire. It almost looks like St. Francis came back out on their heels, not real fired up for game number 3. St. Francis back out on the court.
Well, it'll be nice for the Dons to stay on this wavelength they're on right now, because they not only need a win, but they need an impressive win in this game 3.
Chance to score a point here. Nice job by Heather Teagarden to get outside after trying to block that ball.
Tough position. St. Francis is having trouble passing the ball at the moment. 6-0, Dons. Take advantage. Do it. And they did.
It calls a lift.
I almost thought that Heather was going to back off on that and not take a shot at it.
We still haven't really done a nice job on that overpass kill yet.
It's almost like we've taken too much time to decide. Are we going to go for it or are we going to play it?
Jennifer Shreves back into the lineup again. Trinda Goings just looking for any kind of combination here that's going to stop this bleeding.
Good play, good play. Side out, but that's all right. That was a good shot. She went for it. It was close.
Kelly McNamara to serve. Quick attack by Povido, but it's dug. Didn't look like it made it over, and he called it. Side out IPFW.
It's always a surprising play to me. I'm amazed, because sometimes the ball goes so fast, maybe I don't see that it really was blocked, but it looks like it just into the net and right back at you.
Jill Lyon serving. Back set to Amy Scheinman. St. Francis in the net.
A little hesitancy on April's part back there, wondering whether she should have played that ball or not, but I think you go for it and you play it.
And actually, I think it would have been in, Dave, but I think you're right. You can't be indecisive back there. You need to decide, and sometimes you're going to make that wrong decision, but at least you're aggressive making it.
That's right. Play it.
Sasha Spangler back into the lineup for Rybicki. Sasha to serve.
Sasha's been one of the brighter spots for the Cougars. Tough serve to handle.
There we go. Overpass kill. Nice.
About time.
Yep. Heather Teagarden to serve. Serves wide. Serves there.
Heather's tried to go for that right sideline, and she's had a hard time hitting it.
Yeah, about the only one who's consistently hit down that line is Shannon Smith. Now, April Bear had some success
this last
during
time.
her rotation, yeah. Railing tried to short serve, hits the net.
Looked like she tried to do it with a slow curve. Close, but no cigar. Young man calling the lines must be one of the new men's players. Looks a little bit like Felipe.
Yeah, I don't know the men's players. I think both of them are men's players, and I'm not sure either one of them. Into the lineup, number 15, the first time we've seen Jody Walcott. Also from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Amy Scheinman to serve. IPFW up 8-0. Overpass.
And they're going to Shannon more and more. They know she's getting the job done tonight.
It's it wide though. But St. Francis is in the net. So it's an IPFW point.
9-0. They need to keep this momentum going. So they got something real positive to finish the night on.
Adrenaline flowing.
Yeah.
Rybicki back in the lineup. Kill attempt by April Bear is long. That's real frustrating to me, Dave. You don't get a good set, but you try to make a great play, and I don't think you can do that. I think you got to be smart and just make the play.
Make a standard play. Get it back, like the serve. Get it in play.
But Shannon Smith gets it down.
Shannon's gone after it.
Trying to decide who should be serving here. Shannon Smith will be.
Somebody's going to have to do it.
But again, it's back to that confusion that we talked about in game number 2.
Well, that's one of those where number 9's smiling.
Yep, miss hit.
Miss hit turns out to be a great shot.
That's right.
It's one of those, oh no, yeah.
Jennifer Shreves. Overpass.
But St. Francis unable to take advantage.
Nope.
Well, April had a nice streak going last time. Let's see if she can recreate that.
Yes, she does. Oh, it's the net. I didn't see it.
I wasn't real sure. If you look at the net, maybe you can see just a bit of a vibration right now.
Side out. McNamara. Quick attack in the middle. Block. Dug by Walcott. Rybicki gets the ball down. Point St. Francis 9-2.
Did they call that a touch or they call that shot in?
No, it was good.
In.
McNamara continuing to serve. Back set to Heather Teagard. Amy Palvido with a kill deep. Not real hard, but deep in the court. Side out IPFW.
St. Francis appears to have some people that maybe this hot, humid weather is getting to them. It's been a long night. Their reactions are fairly slow on that back row.
But she's actually played a lot of players, Dave.
Yeah, she has.
Joe Lyon back to serve. Tip kill good by Piper. Sasha Spangler into the lineup for Rybicki. She'll serve. Quick attack in the middle by Amy Povido. Down for the side out. Heather Teagarden will serve.
Okay, Dons, it's time to pick it up.
Just not quick enough reactions.
Wasn't a thing of beauty on either side, I guess, but it was most effective for St. Francis.
Jody Wolcott. Service there.
Wow.
This is the first action she's seen tonight, Dave. She might just not be getting quite in the flow.
Yeah.
Amy Povido.
Thank you.
Free ball. Outside to Shannon Smith. She hits a flyer.
Yeah, didn't get down on that, did she?
Piper to serve. Outside to Smith. Block. Doug. Back outside. Nope. Excuse me. Free ball. Point St. Francis.
Here they come.
Slowly.
Yep.
But they're coming back. 9-3. Outside to Smith. Blocked by Leffel. 9-4. Tim Heffron going to call a timeout. First 8 points came real easy for IPFW, and I think they kind of lulled themselves to sleep.
Yeah.
Although they really haven't let St. Francis score a lot of points in this run, they have allowed them to crawl back in a little bit, 9-4.
And St. Francis has had a couple of fortunate rolls and bounces, but that's part of the game.
Part of the game. I think Tim does a really nice job of trying to keep the kids focused. I think that's why he uses his timeouts. I notice him every once in a while on the bench pick a player out and not yell at per se, but try to keep them focused on the game, because it's very easy in the course of I mean, we've talked about this before, Dave. Volleyball is such a game of momentum.
Yeah.
And I gotta believe that a lot of that is just the fact that you don't stay focused for the full 3, 4, or 5 games.
There we see a shot of number 6, Stacy Piper, ready to serve for the Cougars.
Outside to Smith, she gets it down. Amy Scheinman back to serve. Let's serve it out, Amy. 9-4, game number 3. IPFW leads 2-0.
There's
she
one.
Gets the ace.
That gets them off of that 9. They've been kind of stuck there for a while. Keep it right on going out. Good serve.
Oh, blocked by Ryan and Bear.
Good block.
11-4.
See that little cool breeze again. Keep that door open.
Like you said, I'm not sure where it's coming from, but it sure feels good.
Oh, boy.
Another service ace. A lot of service aces this game, Dave.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of service aces this match.
And St. Francis has taken their last time out because they're down to between a rock and a hard place now.
Right, trailing 12-4.
And it was just that, a momentum timeout, because the coach didn't have a lot to say.
Amy Scheinman will continue to serve for the Volleyball. Kill by McNamara, side out St. Francis.
Well, I'll say this, the Cougars came back after that one, and they were focused on that point.
Leffel. Free ball. Outside the antenna though. Point St. Francis. 12-5. Nice pass. Shannon Smith. Oh, would have been long, I think, Dave.
Yeah. Put it right at her though, and she couldn't move, couldn't get out of the way.
Kill attempt by Teagarden is wide.
Linesman called it in, but he meant to call out.
It was definitely.
Yeah, it was out. And the official had it right. They were together. Just his arm went down. He's tired. Indecision. See if it pays off.
Nice stay at home. Back set to Teagarden. Overpass.
Got to do it. All right.
Nice
save.
dig though by Piper.
Yep, did the best they could. Piper and then number 16 Kelly McNamara kept it alive. Good effort.
Service air by April Bear. Side out IPFW. Jill Lyon back to serve for another service air.
Down there. Well, we got to get on track here.
Yep. Again, we kind of lost our train of thought and our momentum.
They're within 3.
Sasha Spangler.
St. Francis has got some little people that are pretty good players, Dan.
Well, they're crawling back into it.
Yeah,
Dave.
they are.
They were down 8-0 and I think 9-1. It's now 12-6. It's a long way to climb back, but they still have the opportunity. They haven't quit.
Stacy Piper, Tanya Leffel, Sasha Spangler. Pretty active volleyball players. They go at you.
They've noticed Jennifer Sheets has a huge brace on her leg. I don't remember seeing that early when she played.
No, I don't think so. Don't think so. Not earlier in the match. So side out with the score 12-6. Dons with an opportunity now to put it away.
Heather Teagarden, sir. Nice dig by Teagarden outside to Shannon Smith. She hits a flyer. She's not getting on top of the ball like she did earlier.
Fatigue may be setting in just a little bit for her because she's not getting up and getting that fluid motion on the downswing.
Jody Wolcott. That ball might have gone out, I'm not sure.
But it was a crawler along that net, you never know.
Oh, a double hit. 12-7. IPFW going to make a substitution. Julie Parrott in. Came in for Shannon Smith. Might be right, Dave. You might just be giving Shannon a little blow here.
Yeah, I think so.
It's tough, though, for Julie Parrott to come in after sitting down like that. And there's a lot of miscommunication there.
Yeah.
Tim Heffron going to call a timeout. I believe that's his second now, right? So both teams taking both of their timeouts.
I think so.
St. Francis back to 12-8.
Couldn't stand prosperity, could we? The Don's coming to midcourt here to see if he can't check out and make sure everything's under control at the scorer's table. Helping out the PA.
I think that scoreboard's a little bit wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he might want to have a recount here. And
IPFW back on the floor. St. Francis back on the floor. Looks like Wolcott serving still. It's long for an air. Amy Palvido will try to serve this game and match out.
Put it in play, Amy. She did.
Service ace.
Countdown is 2. 2 more and the Dons go home with victory. One more.
Kill attempt is long. 14-8.
Opportunity to win. Let's see if opportunity knocks, if they can open the door. Serve is in play.
Kill attempt is long again.
And there we go.
IPFW wins 3-0. Scores of 15-12, 15-13, and 15-8.
Can't say it was easy and can't say it was pretty, but it was
a
effective.
win.
That's right. And the third game was much more impressive than either of the first two.
Well, they took control. They came right out and they took control of that game, I think, and that made a big difference. Brings their overall record to 3-6. You and I have chosen Shannon Smith as the player of the match. I'm going to go down on the floor, Dave, and try to get Shannon, see if we can't get a couple words with her. So I'll leave you and wrap things up here.
Congratulate Shannon, and coming off the bench, she did a nice job here tonight as the Lady Dons have been victorious here at home, beating St. Francis 3-0. It's a non-conference match for the Dons here tonight, but it's an important match for the Dons because they needed to get some experience, get this crew in a groove, used to winning, figuring out where they can improve their games, and I'm sure they'll be looking at the videotapes tomorrow. As you see, Tim Heffron, first-year coach here at IPFW, happy with the win, has plenty to work on to make some improvements. Don the Mastodon goes over to congratulate Tim. I don't envy the Mastodon tonight, the mascot. This is a hot, muggy building, and he's in that big, cumbersome outfit. Okay, from here at the Gate Center, we congratulate the Lady Dons on their win tonight, and we now go down to the floor and join Dan Gebhardt, where we'll be back after this to give you the player of the game.
Talk about unusual. How often do you see transparent televisions?
Americans have more money to spend on leisure activities than ever before.
When possible, children should trick or treat during daylight hours and be accompanied by at least one adult.
A boat, archaeologists believe, is from the time Jesus and his disciples fished on the Galilee.
For best results, fertilize your lawn when it is actively growing.
Many people suffer from allergies. Few understand them.
Ma'am, excuse me. Could you help me, please? Sir, could you help me, please? My little girl, she needs blood. Could you help me?
I'm sorry.
Somebody, please? My daughter, she needs blood. Could you please help? Somebody help me.
Imagine if you had to ask for blood to save the life of someone you love. Next time the American Red Cross asks, give blood, please.
This is the increasingly competitive world we live in, and this is the country we want ahead of the competition. These are the people we'll be depending on to keep this country ahead of the competition. These are the colleges and universities we're relying on for the people we're depending on to keep this country ahead of the competition. So if you want America to stay #1 in the world, do something about it. Give to the college of your choice.
What comes to your mind when you think about statistics? Polls, gambling, maybe baseball. Sure, but how about lightning, lobsters, music, chocolate cake, sex discrimination, heart attacks, potato chips, traffic, the ozone layer, Shakespeare, monkeys, dancing, drug testing? If some of these things didn't make your list, then you should be watching public television's new statistics series, Against All Odds.
Welcome back to the Gates Athletic Center here at IPFW, where the Lady Dons tonight have been victorious in their volleyball match over crosstown rival St. Francis Cougars. The Lady Dons tonight were victorious in 3 straight games, and it's now our pleasure to go down to the floor with Dan Gebhardt and our player of the game, Shannon Smith.
We're here with our selection of player of the game, Shannon Smith. Shannon, Dave, and I both thought you came in off the bench and did a great job, got some key side outs. You served real tough in that second game in particular. What did you feel your role was coming in?
Well, especially with April being out last weekend, I just had to prepare myself to come in whenever I could and just try my hardest and get the kills. We needed somebody to really bang on the ball, and that's what I did.
Well, we also saw a lot of service errors in the first game. Was that because of the selection of serve? We were trying to serve real tough?
No, I really think that we get nervous at the line.
Yeah, because I've seen you in practice. You guys serve real tough in practice.
If we could serve in a game like we serve in practice, we'd get aces all the time.
Well, you're all trying to adjust to a new system. You know, with Tim Heffron coming in as coach, he didn't get a whole bunch of preparation time personally. How are the kids adjusting to Tim as a coach and his new system and those kind of things?
I think that we're adjusting real well. He is a very strict coach. If you have a lot of internal motivation, you won't get in. You won't have to make him motivate you by running or pit or anything we do in practice. So he's usually pleased if you just give it 100% all the time.
You got a couple big matches this weekend. You're going to go up to St. Cloud, which is about a 12-hour trip. You're going to practice tomorrow and leave. It takes Tim back home. That's where he came from. What are you guys looking for this weekend?
Hopefully to bring back wins. It's a lot easier to go on the road after winning tonight rather than losing, so I think we're pretty well prepared.
Shannon, thanks for joining us. We're going to send it back up to Dave.
Welcome back, IPFW campus, Gates Sports Center. It's been our pleasure tonight to present to you exciting NCAA athletics. We thank you for being with us and invite you to join through the fall, winter, and spring programming of live sports presentations here by Channel 6 on the IPFW campus. Again, tonight, the Lady Dons from IPFW defeated St. Francis Cougars 3-0 in an exciting volleyball match. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.